Some towns in America are basically stealing people's homes.
One missed property tax payment and the government can take your home, sell it, and keep all of the profits.
She was on a payment plan, but she'd missed $900. She didn't expect to lose her entire $300,000 home.
I went to the mayor's office. I went down to the city county building. They didn't want our money.
After Tawanda's home was taken, her husband did construction work to try to recover their losses. Christina Martin of the Pacific Legal Foundation.
The government can't take more than it's owed.
So the government has an incentive to notify them in legalese so they can't understand it?
We have a client who's sleeping in her car right now. The city took her property, turned around and sold it within days of evicting her for $242,000.
The government is stealing houses. There was a lady on a payment plan for paying her county property tax and had missed $900 in payment. She wanted to pay her missed payments and went to the mayor's office and the city county building. None of these offices accepted her payment. Eventually, her house gets sold at auction to pay for her delinquent taxes. This is the story we are told about this lady. She tried to pay off her debt so she can keep her house from the greedy government. This event occurred in Southfield, Wisconsin. In the video, Stealing Homes from John Stossel's YouTube channel, we are told that the government sends out letters in legalese, which may be difficult for normal people to understand. I agree that most legal documents are hard to understand. You can read something and it makes sense at the time in which you read it, but could have a totally different meaning. In addition to this story, there is an article that tells her story as well. While the event occurred around 2020, we can only read what is available now. We see the current year is when the person is normally paying taxes, and this is when the missed payment would have occurred. The next year, by March, the tax is due to the Oakland County Treasurer's office. Going to the mayor's office wouldn't have helped this person, and going to the city county building would have been the correct place. The treasurer's office should have given the person the information she needed unless it was the third year of the delinquency after March 31st. That is when the taxpayer loses all interest in the property. Maybe the foreclosure process is done by that time. We are not given the time frame of when the person did any of her trying to pay the missed payment. This process seems normal to the few states that I have looked at for the tax sale. It was great the person took ownership of the issue. She put herself on a payment plan. Like any other bill, that plan has to get paid. The county did their side in helping by creating the plan, and her side is to pay the plan. That's our financial responsibility, and if we want the plan to be honored by both sides need to do their responsibilities. Later, we hear the husband took on a construction job. That job is after the loss of the house. What was going on while the payment was falling behind? We don't know the situation, so we can only speculate. We are told in the article that the family was going through severe financial stress, meaning they had a good idea they could not make the payments. My normal suggestion is getting roommates, downsizing, or trying to live with less. The difference here is this was a family of 4 and possibly a sick mother-in-law as well. I had no issue like that and have no idea what a person in that situation could do. I know there are charities like the Catholic charities that might help in this situation. I'm from a big family, and before our financial situation, that's when the kids had came. It's hard to say what could be done after having the kids. I've heard someone say to not buy unless you can afford the things 5 times over. Also heard someone say don't buy unless you can afford the things 3 times over. While there are some things you just can't do that to, like real estate, for most things that might be good advice. How much does it cost to raise a kid per year? If you can't afford a kid, should you be having 4 of them? Try your best not to put yourself in dire straits, so when you get hit with financial woes, you could weather the storm better. Regarding the government and notices, could the government do more? Everyone could always do more for or about something that had occurred. The fact is the government does the same thing for everyone by sending out a notice. There are some responsibilities individuals must have if something is not understood, especially if it relates to something the person knows they have done, for instance, not pay their property tax fully. The specific legal foundation website tells the person's story, and it has some additional information. Both the video and article talks about the person get on a payment plan, which is very good for her taking charge of her financial situation. Between the video and article, there is a difference in the money. In the video, she was $900 delinquent. In the article, she was $22,000 delinquent. That's a $13,000 difference. Is it understandable for any party to terminate a payment plan if the person is behind over $20,000? I think it's understandable, no matter the amount, just that the person is behind. Looking at the lady's job of being a nursing assistant, we see the highest median pay is $44,000 per year. She has 4 kids, and per video, after she lost the house, the husband took on construction work. Construction work is normally done during daytime hours. To me, that would indicate that he didn't have a job before getting that type of work. So that's 5 people living off nearly $11,000 above the poverty line. Both the video and article did not give us the timeline. However, they both told us the treasurer did work with the person by providing a payment plan. The person knew she was not catching up and could not catch up, making the stealing of her house just a farce. There's a great chance that she knew what was going to happen. Reading specificlegal.org, home-equity-death, the foundation is right that the government should not be able to keep more than what is owed. I know other states have overages. That's when a house is sold more than what is owed, and the extra money is the previous owner's right. One problem with that is the government does not inform the people, so private individuals will have to tell a former owner, but for a fee. In the previously mentioned article about the lady, it referenced how the Fifth Amendment was infringed upon. The claim is the government to control over someone's property without just compensation. This is the same claim landlords were making during the eviction moratorium, where the payment for housing a squatter was not guaranteed, but the government forced the landlords not to be able to evict the squatters. Just like one of the person in the video that had to live in a car due to getting their houses sold. During the eviction moratorium, there were landlords having to live in their cars too. The government is very comfortable with overreaching. Normally, that's what certain types of people want to hear when the individual is getting something for nothing. For example, free space to squat. However, by letting the government get comfortable overreaching, when they overreach anywhere, they'll overreach everywhere. Now, while no one should have to live in their car, sometimes people have to do what they have to do to not financially ruin themselves. I might have to live in my car too, due to the eviction I'm going through. In this picture from the Tax Foundation, Wisconsin has 1.75% median property tax, the 4th highest in the country. This is expensive, and the pros and cons of renting versus owning has to come into play. If the person can't afford the property, regardless of how much work she put into the place per the article, it could have been best for her to rent. It's normal for people to have the sunk cost mentality. That's when you get attached to something that you spend either time, money, or both on, and you want to keep it regardless if it's not advantageous to do so. The American dream is not to put yourself at financial risk. There got to be something the family could have done to try and reduce their financial situation. It was good that they put themselves on a payment plan and the husband got a job. Unfortunately, he got it after they lost the house. Without knowing much more about what the county or city did, I cannot say they are stealing people's houses. It's more plausible the county or city did follow the laws and gave the proper warning. auctioning off the property isn't stealing the place when the owners knew they were indebted to the county, had back taxes, and had warnings. As for the county sending notices and legalese, just as long as they do the same thing for everyone, that should be okay from the county side. There's no way the county is to know the comprehension level of everyone and customize the notice to each person. The incentive for the county to not do this customization is the savings on cost for the service. Tax sale is normal. It's normal to pay your tax. It's normal to have some consequence for not paying taxes. We have responsibility to try our best to not take on more debt than we can so we don't hurt ourselves.
In 11 states, local governments, if you're behind on your taxes, can grab your home and keep much more than what you owed.